was 13 years old, and I was sitting in my room, and my father walked in. He said, "Son, we need to talk." I said, "Okay." And he said, "In the car." So we went out, we got in the car, we drove out of town. He took me into the hills and up into the mountains. We got out of the car, locked the car, and he marched me up the tallest mountain. After we caught our breath, he looked down into the valley below, and he pointed to the city and the towns around it and the houses. And he said, "Son, it's a mean, harsh world out there, and you've got to do 4 things if you want to survive and thrive. You've got to drink. You've got to steal. You've got to swear. And you've got to lie." And in my adolescent mind, I thought my father had actually stopped loving me, because up until that point, he had always told me to do the opposite of those things. Indeed, when I was tiny, I got so much smile and love and praise as a baby. It's probably the same for all of us. You remember when you picture the scene, you're about to take your first step in life, and you take it, and what happens? Your mother comes over, "Oh, darling, you took your first step, I love you. Honey, get the camera, get the video, phone Granny, put it on the internet, I love you." And the same thing happens when you take your first step. Your father's there, "Hey, bellissimo, he's took his first step." My dad wasn't really Italian, but I liked it. And the same thing happens when you get your first tooth. And the same thing happens when you lose your first tooth, when you swim your first length, and when you race your first race. But what happens when all the firsts dry up? Seems to me the love and the praise dries up too. So pretty soon you're coming home from school, and you're going, "Mom, I got an A+ in my exams." "Oh, that's nice, darling. Dinner's at 6, and don't walk on my clean floor." And it's don't do this and don't do this, and you're grounded, and you can't be out that late. And speak when you're spoken to. And just when you think it couldn't get any worse, you become a teenager! And you think your parents hate you, and you think school hates you, and you think society hates you. And you hate society, and you hate your parents, and you hate school, and you hate yourself. I know, I have 2 teenage boys, trust me. And just when you think it couldn't get any worse, your face explodes into some kind of weird moonscape, kind of Vesuvius volcano thing, and your body starts growing incredible appendages that you've never seen before. And just when you think it couldn't get any worse, ka-chung! Your parents invite you to leave, probably by the back door, to go to university or to make your way in the big, wide world. And you know what's out there. You know. And you know. And you know. It's the big black box. Otherwise known as television. Television is the most powerful hypnotic influencer known to man or woman. And the people who design those programs want you to think that you're not good enough. And they'll tell you have to go wrong mortgage. You've got the wrong car. You've got the wrong color car. The wrong makeup. You've got the wrong shoes. The wrong bra. The wrong dog food. And while we're on the subject, you know where it says chum, new improved flavor? Who tests for that? I've never seen a dog fill out a feedback form. The people who make those programs want to transport you psychologically into the land of not enoughness. And when you're in the land of not enoughness, what do? You start talking to yourself. You start saying, "Poor me, I should have that mortgage. Poor me, I should have that car. Poor me, pour me a drink." And you start saying, "I should go to the gym. I should have those shoes, that bra, that dog food." And you end up shooting all over yourself. And it's not a pretty sight or a smell. And the whole time we're doing that craziness, our eyes are scanning the horizon, searching for the smile and the love and the praise that we got as tiny tots. But folks, I'm here to tell you we've been looking in the wrong place. We've been looking outside. And we should be looking on the inside. Because deep down in every single one of us is an infinite well of love and praise and smiles and attention. But it's up to you to fill that well. So your mission, should you decide to accept it, is to go out there and find out what floats your boat, what bakes your noodles, what lifts your kilt, and go and do more of it. I live in Scotland now. What lifts your kilt and do more of it. Because when you do that stuff, what happens on the inside? You feel good and happy, and you have an inner smile. And when you have an inner smile, what happens on the outside? You have an outer smile. And two things happen when you get a smile on your face. One, your brain releases powerful endorphins. They're your brain's natural opiate, and they make you feel very good. And two, when other people see you smile, what do they do? What do they do? They smile back, that's right. And when other people see them, what do? They smile. And pretty soon you're having a big old endorphin party. And guess what? It's legal, and it's free, and you can have as much as you want and still be able to drive home. So I challenge you to do 3 things. If you're going to watch television, do it selectively, because those people are trying to program your brains. 2, smile at absolutely everyone you see, because now you know how magical it is and how powerful. And 3, heap loads of love and praise and attention in every direction, because it's what makes the world go round. And by the way, on top of the mountain, I got it completely wrong, as my father proceeded to tell me, drink from the fountains of knowledge. All leaders are readers. Steal a little time each day to give to someone else. Swear you'll make this day the most amazing day of your life, because it just may be your last. And lie in bed at night and give thanks for being born. My dad learned that from Nigel Risner, Madam Contest Master.
The winner of the District 71 International Speech Contest and the person who will go forward to represent all of us in Reno next August is Erick Rainey.
I just want to thank them, and I want to thank all the other competitors. There's been a theme running through all the speeches about self-belief, and I think that is a really powerful message that all of us can take home with us today and give to other people. So thank you very much.